Hey guys, if you need raw dog food anywhere in the United States, be sure to visit our friends over at texastripe.com.
Welcome to NWA Cane Corsos Podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Yes, sir. We back for another one. This time we have our sister Wen Michelle in the house. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I am in it to win it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna jump right into it. Could you give the audience a brief introduction of yourself?
Breathe. That word breathe.
Take your time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wen Michelle, Wendy Michelle, I go by. I also go by hashtag the QEOs. I've been around for almost a few years, maybe 10, 11, 12 years. I've been into pet rescue, volunteer transport, fostering, anything dealing with helping and assisting us with our pets and our dogs when we're in so-called maybe like dire crisis or something. People kind of reach out to me to see if, hey, have you heard about such and such, or if you have space to take on such and such. And so, like, I would offer up my home, my time, my energy for things like that. I have whelped litters before for other trainers and breeders. I've even taken two 2-day-old pups from Virginia, from this reputable breeder. He was doing Boerboels at the time. Took them into my home, nursed them, bottle fed them every 2 hours. We know how that goes. One did not survive, one did. So, those are things that I, did, which gave me experience dealing with different type of breeds, trainers, breeders, and that close network of
Yeah.
family that we have.
Right.
So yeah, so that's me. Yeah, that's me.
So excuse me. So let me ask you this. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Connecticut.
Okay.
Went to school in New Jersey. My parents and my grandparents are from the Carolinas,
Okay.
and great grandparents from the Carolinas. I've
Okay.
lived in Texas. I've lived in Tennessee. I lived in, of course, the Carolinas, which I'm in here right now. So, yeah, being part of this small community of people is giving me, like, chances to meet people, learn from them,
Mhm.
apprentice through them, and actually, like, pet sit, house sit while they go on vacation. So that's really when I started to take it as a, besides being something that I love doing, but turning like a hobby into a business.
Yeah.
Because people would say that I was good at, handling their big dogs, 3 and 4 dogs. While they went on vacation, they would either fly me in, I'll stay in their house, right? While
Hmm.
watching their dogs. So that's really how I got started into taking it seriously as, a business. So yeah,
Okay.
that was
Let
me.
me rewind things a little bit because you got a lot going on. Your bio, I was like, whoa. Where we start.
Wherever
so,
you want to
so,
start, I'm open. Let's talk
so,
about it.
I ask people this question a lot. It's a basic question, but like as far as dogs just coming up, what were dogs? like for
Yeah.
you? Uh,
You know what? It's my dad's fault. So let me start there. He bought me and my brother our first puppy. I was about maybe 9 or 10, and it
mhm,
was a Roddy at the time. So that's when I was hooked on dogs.
mhm,
But prior to that, I was just an animal lover. I was always the one catching frogs, catching snakes, not afraid of spiders and lizards, buying a little dwarf bunnies from like the pet shop.
mhm.
Although they would pass away, I would still buy another one until my dad said one day, maybe you shouldn't go back to that same pet shop to buy that
Right.
rabbit that
Yeah.
dies every other year. So
Right.
that was me. I was always around animals, always. And let's not forget, my grandparents, they lived on a farm,
Farm. Yeah.
40
Carolina.
acres, Carolinas. Remember?
Hmm.
Every summer when school was out, what did kids up north do? Up top,
Go to grandma. Yeah.
go to grandma's.
Yeah. Same here.
And
Yeah.
see, then you understand. So that's when you got the pigs and the chickens and the hogs,
Mhm.
horses, blah, 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 blah. So, that was me. That was me.
I remember.
So
Yeah, I
that's
remember
what started.
every summer you got to go back to grandma house. I remember my grandma didn't have a toilet. She, grew up down there in the Delta. I'm talking about cotton picking. Sharecropping. All that.
Tobacco, don't forget the tobacco, right?
Oh yeah, dirt roads. All that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that was me. Let
Yeah.
me tell you, 2 years ago, I posted a picture of an outhouse on social
Wow.
media. People were like, what's that? Then
Uh-huh.
you had a few jump in the comments like, yo, if you know, you know, right? But yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
remember those days,
Yeah.
I was little, but I remember those days.
Right. And you know what? The thing about it is like it is so expensive, so hard to live now that I remember my mom them and just her friends they would talk about growing up in the days in them environments, them not even know that they were poor. You know what I mean? And now you gotta fight to live. You almost gotta pay for air now.
Listen, I to this day I don't know how they did it.
Mhm,
And although they may have thought they were poor back then,
mhm.
I think they were actually rich.
Rich.
And
Yeah.
they kind of taught us, like, think about it. They kind of taught us, like, if you needed to survive, again, if the power goes out, like, there's certain things that, our grandparents taught us how to do and
Yeah.
what to do when it's time to know how to do things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's a saying in the South. A country person can survive anywhere.
listen, there you go. You
Yeah.
better say it again for the people in the back. I'm
I'm
telling
telling
you.
you. Yeah.
I
For real.
always say nowadays, like my children, although they're grown, I'm an empty nester,
Mhm.
they're not going to ever experience that, and their kids and their children's children, they're not going to know anything about the dirt roads,
Yeah.
like pumping the well if you need water. They're not going to know that going across the street or down yonder to pick your watermelon or
Yeah.
pick your vegetables for dinner so grandma can cook for you. Like they're not going to know
Well,
that.
yeah, they won't know it, but when they realize how rich it is and how everybody like a lot of people are fighting for that environment, like homesteading now, and it's such a easier life and such a just more enjoyable life. I've learned to appreciate the country coming from the city.
That
It's
part.
much nicer.
It
Uh,
really is. And
yeah.
that kind of will take us into, part of my, background.
Hmm.
Um, when I was going through a tough time and it was actually a crisis,
Hmm.
to me,
Hmm.
that's all I did. I'm like, you know what? Let me drive 10 hours. Let me go to that old house in the country
Hmm.
and just lick my wounds, right?
Yeah.
Pick up where I left off, get the strength to wake up the next day and try it all again, right?
That's
We
right.
need to revamp, recoup. There
Right.
was nothing like, my grandparents' house back then, the
Yeah.
acres, and I had a dog. I think I told you about that. That was my first Boerboel.
The Boerboel.
And,
Yeah. Yeah. The Boerboel. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
but
Yes, ma'am. So
Yeah, to me, I had to walk it, right? It
uh,
had to eat. It got me out of bed because I was really, going through, some family crisis. And
right,
if it wasn't for me having the dog, I wouldn't even know where I would be right now, you know?
right,
So
right.
it's therapeutic. It
Yeah,
really, truly was.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's kind of crazy. Not crazy in a bad way, but I just did a show on service dogs today earlier. It had been come out before this interview, but how
Right.
much a dog can really help you. You know what I mean?
Listen, I got stories, real life stories that I can tell you, like hands down. And I'm a firm believer in it happened to me. I actually blessed maybe four people with trained service dogs that I gifted to them. They were military vets or with a disability. And I really felt good about that.
Oh,
Um,
PTSD dogs.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
They would
let me ask
alert.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me. When did you? What are you more known for? Training? Because you done did it all. You training. You've been a breeder. You're involved in a lot of things.
Yeah,
But what happened first?
that's an excellent question. What happened first was me training a Boerboel.
Okay.
And again, I did it as a novice. No e-collar, no treats. But again, I'm not knocking that. But again, I'm just telling you, as a novice, that's what I
Mhm,
did. And I
mhm,
trained a fully trained dog, which was a Boerboel, on so many different commands. So that was the first thing. But again, at that time, to me, it was just a hobby. So when people would see me on social media and see, wow, she's kind of good at handling these big dogs, dominant dogs, let me give her a shout and see, if she's open for an opportunity to one help me whelp a litter of Belgian Malinois.
mhm.
I call those dogs raptors, but again, and at the time I had that opportunity to do that, and that what brought me to Texas, my first time in Texas. So I helped a reputable trainer with his litter. Welcome. My first time with that experience, I loved it. They were grateful for it. And with that, I kind of like apprenticed after them. Like when they would go throughout their day to day, they would teach me what to do and how to do it. And there's like, well, you know what, you're really, really good at that. And this dog that you're pet sitting for me, he's kind of, known um, in a negative way, but he is known. Like, so if you know, you know. But with that being said, he was the dog of a professional basketball player in the NBA.
Okay.
Um, but just like this dog really, caters to you, bond to you. You're kind of good at this. So, learning, growing, being around people who were doing that, and they were showing me what to do while they were gone. And again, me not knowing this was part of basics of like, obedience training,
Mhm.
So that's where the lingo came in and the wording and the language, you know what I mean? Whereas to me, as I said before, I mean, I was winging it with the dog I had,
Yeah.
not knowing that I was doing certain things and it meant certain things by it, like the method behind it. So that's where that started.
You
Then
you
from
still
there, mhm.
I had a quick question. You still train no treats?
You know what? To me, I've learned it depends on the dog. It
Mhm.
really does. There's some dogs where, you don't need a treat, but they're good on praise, right? Praise. Or
Mhm.
they may be a toy. They want that toy. They'll do anything for that toy. But then there are dogs where, treats are very much involved. So with me, it depends on a specific dog.
Got it.
And it depends on that dialogue and that conversation that you have with the dog's owner, right? Because it's a blended situation. It's not just you training the dog. You got to work with the pet parents also, right, to be on
That's
one
right.
accord.
Right.
So I'm not going to spend my time telling a person, no, I'm not going to ever, need treats or use treats for your dog. But then when you get home, everything that I did with your dog, now you cannot do that or maintain it when they get home. You're going to think that, I wasted your money, right? It's non-effective. So that's what I mean. It comes hand in hand, and you got to know the dog that you're working with, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
when it comes to me, I've been under, I'm going to say, two different programs. And I swear, each program told me the other program was telling me something wrong.
Wow. Yeah.
So I won't get into that, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, so that let me say, when Michelle, step back, what you know how to do it, it's effective, and it's okay. You're not knocking anybody else's approach, but how you do it, it works, right?
Right. Right.
You may deal with some, franchises out there that say, gotta put an e-collar on that dog. I mean, the dog can look at you and you say, lay down, it'll lay down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that program said, no, you better
Yeah.
put an e-collar on each and every dog. You're like, this is a sweetheart. Like,
Yeah.
so, but
Right.
again, to me, you just got to know the dog. Like for example, I have a German Shepherd at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping out the parents, walking him, heel, walking on the leash, off the leash. This dog does not need an e-collar.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I was underneath a specific franchise dog training program,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be like, no, you're not doing it the right way. But it's effective. Like
Right.
he does not need it.
Right.
So, that's what I'm saying. Now I'm comfortable with my approach, how I do what I do, as long as it's effective, the parents are good, the dog is good, that reinforcement,
Mm-hmm.
it's all good.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So franchises, have you ever worked under a franchise before? Is that what you're saying?
Excellent question.
Okay.
So the first franchise program, and this is a true story, it's been around for decades. I want to say maybe 25 years. I was the only woman of color that was accepted.
Mm.
So, I felt, very much privileged, trust and believe, it's an honor. I'm going to show you, I'm not going to disappoint you, right? And at the time, I'm of age, so I'm in my 50s right now. I'm not ashamed to say it. So I was one of the oldest that they accepted, right? And the only woman of color.
Excellent.
Yeah. I would have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be ready by 7 to get, like, the dogs ready, packed, their gear, their garb, because this was really a hands-on dual purpose training program where these dogs go to, like, police force around the country.
Okay.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
didn't last.
Okay.
I was there for 8 weeks,
Okay.
learned a lot. I have respect for the program. However, one of the things, because this is not the only thing, the day that they told me, okay, when Michelle be ready, it's going to be a swamp day. We're going to be in the swamps. Make sure you have your gear on. You may see alligators.
Damn.
Don't worry about the alligators. Just protect the dogs from the alligators. I was like, yeah, you know what? This is too intense for me. Like, can you put me in, like, just the, like, basic training part of your facility? Because this with the swamps and the scent tracking, trailing in the woods, forest, seeing snakes. And now you're telling me, like, with low tide, I may run into alligators, and don't worry about myself. Just make sure the dogs are good. I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Thank you, but no thank you for this opportunity. I'm going home.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So,
was this a really a franchise or special forces?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
telling
God.
you, But I will say I did hold my own because there were times when, like, the owner was going away because, again, he had events around the world.
Mhm.
And he would tell the people who are my, like, master teachers, well, make sure she's abreast with this. She understands this. She knows that. So they would think, okay, you know what? This is a time to haze this one right here. Like they would take me out in the rain, and these like tall corn stalks. I mean, out there in the woods. We're talking woods.
Mhm.
And I was like, Wendy, whatever you do, like you gotta step it up. You can't look bad. You know what you know. You've been around dogs being, what you know. You gotta show them.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, just that drive and that, resilience. I'm not going to look bad. I'm not going to drop the rope. I had like, a bloodhound, right? You
Mhm.
had to find someone who's like hiding, like, maybe 500 miles, in the woods. Again,
Mm.
because this is part of training.
Yeah.
Um, but I showed them though. It was like, wow, you did good. I'm saying to myself, yes, because you ain't gonna, go back with no bad, report. Oh, she can't handle it. She ain't do it right. I'm like, nah. So again, my confidence level went up again, up another notch. But yeah, the alligator thing, nah.
Yeah. I
So
feel
so
you. Yeah.
yeah, I've been in those rooms,
Right.
especially when you're trying to show a dog to like stay away from like, rattlesnakes, venomous snakes.
Mhm.
I've been in those rooms where I saw how they trained dogs to stay away from rattlesnakes. So yeah, I've been in those situations. I've been in the room of many places
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Deep into the dogs. Deep into dogs.
Deep into dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna put your bio up in the description so people can really understand. Like it's kind of like, wait, really? You know what I mean? So, I mean, golly. So that was one of your early experiences. Um, when did you start to get out on your own? I know you have open like I mean, you all things dogs. Don't you do grooming as well, right?
I did, and true story. Again, been around dogs, not afraid of dogs, know how to handle dogs. So I like the title of canine handler. I really like that a lot because that kind of fits.
Mhm.
So it was around COVID time. COVID hit hard. I saw an ad in the paper. They were looking for, dog groomers for this new franchise. And I knew I was good at handling dogs, being around dogs. So I signed up, I got hired. And while they trained me on their system, their ways of doing things, through the whole, system of learning dog grooming, I
Mhm.
was one of the ones, and this is a true story. Here again, true story. I got millions of them. There was never a dog that I got there quick, nipped there quick, when you're doing their nails, right?
Right. Right.
And I've been around lots of them that have. And even the owner of the specific franchise, he would say, listen, Michelle, please, because he'll be watching from like the cameras, and he will call and go, Wendy, take those shears and take those clippers away from that person. And I'm like, I'm not the boss. Like, we're in the same level. But that's how much he trusts me with how I did and what I did. I never let a dog escape out of a cage, right? Handling the dogs, getting them up inside the tubs, never had a problem with that. I always, thought outside the box. So I'm like, look, you're not gonna, outthink me. Whereas others who have been doing it like for years, they had difficulty. But to me, it was always a challenge, but a nice challenge. So with that to say, I learned how to groom dogs, and I was really good at it.
Mm.
COVID broke out. Everyone got sick except me. I had to hold down his shop by myself for like 8 days. And with me, again, I'm always up for the challenge. I'm competitive within myself. So, yeah, he was able to keep it open for those 8 days, didn't miss a beat. And it was just me. So, I was good at what I did, and I was proud about that. There were some things that I did not like about his program, but who am I to tell somebody else about their business, right? I don't do that, right? You
Right.
either work for them or you leave and open up your own, and that's what I did. So that's when I opened up my own shop. I had it for 2 years. It's called U with the letter U, Barkin at sign me. It's kind of catchy. You barking at me.
Okay, okay. So it's open now as well, right?
No, it's
Okay.
not. It was
You did it for
closed.
2 years.
Yeah, I did it for 2 years. In
Okay.
Salisbury. Google. What is it? Googleable. I'm in Google, so
Uh-huh.
you can look me up. I was there. The community was great. Again, only woman of color doing that. Again,
Mhm.
I had the community, and my prices were affordable. And at that time, part of my like giving back, because I'm always giving back. I love to volunteer for so many things. I would volunteer with the senior assistant living complex.
Mhm.
And there would be some people walking dogs that they shouldn't be walking. You're
Right.
85 with a cane and you got this big 90-pound
Young dog.
shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would walk them, couple of times a week for them. And again, to me it was just free advertising, right? I could wear my t-shirt with my company name, walking around, walking somebody's dog. So things like that, got my name out there. So
Right.
it was good. So yeah.
So I have an experience. Like I am not an internet guy. I didn't think I'd ever be doing anything like this, but I like listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
So I kind of started doing it because it was needed, and then it was certain things I didn't like. A lot of times, the hosts try to take over the whole thing. They want to just make sure they right there with the guests. They don't want to listen to them. They won't ever out talk them. So
Yeah.
I implemented the things I didn't like, and I do that here. So if people appreciate it. So
Yeah.
when you open your business, what things did you implement that was different? Not knocking to whoever you went for, but
Right.
just
Yeah.
things you didn't like that you implemented in your own business.
Listen, and I pride myself on that because I always want to stand out, right? I always want to
Mhm.
be different. First,
Right.
when you walked into my shop, you didn't have that doggy smell. You wouldn't even know if it's a dog shop without the name. And
Mhm.
that's most times what people often say off the cuff. Oh my God, it smells so good in here. So
Mhm.
besides it being OCD and I'm cleaning up all the time, I made sure I had incense or oil burning, of course, in the safety element, right? When you open up the door, it's like either soft, soothing, calm music playing in my shop. So I gave it that home-like feel. Also with me, because I was the owner, one-man band, I could take on difficult dogs, and I'll explain difficult later, as well as dogs that had bad experiences at other places,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I like that because it was more building back that trust level. Again, we talk about nails being clipped and bleeding all the time, right? Hey, it happens. So there are times when I had to take that particular dog, right? That what do you call it? I don't want to say rehabilitation, but because again, if you got a bad experience, somebody taking a metal to your fingers and you're bleeding, you're gonna freak out. So
Yeah.
just building that trust back up again. Whereas, of course, it was me. I can take my time. You're not on a set schedule, right? Oh, I gotta get them in, get them out. No, I'll work with you. Some dogs want to smell around. Some dogs may want to smell you. Some may say, don't even touch me, right? So with me in my shop, I did have time in between clients to do that.
Oh, gotcha.
There was a dog afraid of water. How you gonna wash a dog that's afraid of water? Well, guess what? With me, again, there's triggers. So clearly, it's had a bad experience. Name is Fendi, love her to this day, and it was a American Bulldog, and it was a disabled vet as well. But I took the time, and to me, it was just a simple thought process, and I'm good at research. And I even allowed the owner to know what specific tool I got so that if he didn't want to come to me, he didn't have to because he could just buy this tool. But guess what the quick fix was?
What was that?
Joe, and again, like the round rings that you put the holes in so when the water goes through like that, it's like a ring. It looks like a ring.
Yeah, like a sprinkler ring is what you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
again, this particular dog, once I found out what the trigger was somebody forcing with the water. They freaked
Oh.
out. So
Oh.
what
Okay.
I learned, you know what? Turn that down low. Buy that ring. If I put the hose in the ring, it's gonna sprinkle like that. So it took a while for me to figure it out, but ever since then, never had a problem, and that was a reoccurring customer. Also, I did monthly memberships, right? If you pay monthly, then you can come. And in between, let's say you want to come next week, it's not a full on bath. It may be just you brushing out, or combing out, the fur. Just
Right.
keep the maintain. So that was me. That's what I did. And that's how I got customers, kept customers. And I'm telling you, most people would sing how they would have a bad experience here. And I will always say, I understand, but just give me a try. So
Right.
that was me. Yeah.
So
And I loved it.
I got to ask you this grooming question while we
Yeah.
talking about this. So how much is too much on washing a dog, and is that even a such thing? Because I hear too, like if you maintenance them properly, they don't do a lot of shedding. So can you give me a little insight on that?
Well, that it depends on the breed because you're right. Because again, you have short hair dogs, you have long hair, you have the double coats, right? And then you have the curly. So it depends on the dog and it depends on the dog's activity level. Now, most times people, well, from what I was taught, like 4 to 6 weeks. However, if you're out and about and your dog is dirty, you don't want to wait 3 more weeks, for them to get, fully groomed and bathed. So
Mhm.
again, it depends. So if you just want, and nowadays there's like you don't need a full on groom, right? You could just have like a fixer upper or something quick, or just like a wash. It depends.
Mhm.
So with me, a full on grooming is you got the wash, right? You got the conditioner, you got the blowout, the brush out, right? The dryer. So there's other intricates and just like some people said, listen, just put the dog in the tub, put some, Dawn dish detergent and they're good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock anybody. However, when I worked with another groomer, again, to build up my skills, this is no lie. In the back, when I'm washing the dogs, they got a big thing of like Dawn dish detergent,
Mhm.
right? But they're charging like, the client like $175. And I'm saying to myself, but are you transparent with what you're washing that dog with? The answer
Mhm.
is no.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Like I said,
Mhm.
story for days, and it's the truth. I'm not, I've been in the room.
Mhm.
So it depends. And then there's products out there where they'll say like, waterless shampoo, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends on the dog, the hair type, and the activity of the dog.
Yeah.
Some people wash once a week, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But you got the ears, right? The ears, teeth cleaning, right? Some do like, the anal glands. And again, what I learned with anal glands, what I learned. Some groomers, like, well, we have to do it because that's what the client wants. Whereas other groomers that are owners are like, no, it should be a natural thing. You don't want to always be the one helping, like, expel, like, anal glands. So again, it depends on what you're comfortable with, if it's your shop, how you want to run things. But I would never say this person is wrong. That's their shop, that's how they run it, hey, that's them.
Right.
But with me, not unless it's necessary. Sometimes it's just necessary, right? To do anal
Yeah.
glands.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So and then guess what, sometimes you just need, like, pumpkin, or put like some type of, like, the herbs and things that you need, like, to help with that, flow. And again, I know that side of things too. So
You
yeah,
know it
it
all.
doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know it all. I always like to learn, forever learning. That's me.
Well,
That's
it's something you said that kind of you kind of subtly corrected me on, because when you said I'm a handler, I know, like, that means I'm more than just a trainer. I know how to deal with dogs. I've been in a lot of situations in dogs. I know some of my friends that've been in the game a long time. That's how they refer to. Man, I'm a handler. I can handle it, dog. You know what I mean? It's the
yeah,
lingo. It's the lingo you
yeah,
learn. You know how they say, I can listen to somebody 5 minutes and tell somebody tell if they know, certain,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
certain things you pick up. So what happened? You did the grooming thing. What was next? Were you still training dogs, or were you training dogs at this particular time?
Yeah, and with me, out of respect, very respectful, and sometimes I shouldn't be, but out of respect, there was another trainer in that community.
Hmm.
So I just leaned towards grooming and, like, daycare. But with people who knew my background, right? Yeah, I would take on dogs, I would train them and board them. But because there was already another trainer in that community, in that town, I never advertised, on my billboard in my front of my shop that I did training, but people knew I did. So I did do that on the side.
Okay.
Especially the boarding part, still, yes, I was still doing that. But as far as training, no, I didn't advertise that a lot, but I did do that. And like basic obedience training, yeah, absolutely. I don't get into the protection because I'm not, and I
Mhm.
have mad respect for the ones that do. So I
Right.
don't I don't say that, no,
Mhm.
I stay in my lane.
Yes,
But
sir.
obedience training all the way. And yeah,
Yeah.
I could train a service dog, but nowadays you need, certifications that say that you can do that.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
You said out of respect, you did not want to advertise because another trainer.
Yeah. Yeah, in that town, yeah, at that time. So at that time, most times she would send people who wanted their dog groomed to me.
You. Oh, I
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
So
I was
out
like,
of
wait a minute.
respect. Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, sometimes,
Right.
yeah, Wendy, come on, think about it. But no, out of respect. But now what I realized is, now that I'm not there in that town anymore,
Hmm.
I would get calls sometimes. Don't you know so and so, is now grooming dogs? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
respect, right?
Right. 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 Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like it though. I still get people who reach out to me and they ask me, am I grooming? Do I do mobile? So with that being said, I don't ever want to like give up on those customers in that area. And that's when the mobile side kicks in. But I
Okay.
still love that shop feel, and that board and train feel.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. You
yeah.
get to know them, the pets and the owners, and
Yeah.
yeah, the mobile is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
different ball game. But
Right.
yeah, I still do like, the board and train now. And like, I love it. I take the time because there's some dogs that, they want to get in training, they're eager to learn and they catch on right away. But guess what? There are other dogs that it's gonna take them some time. They'll look at you like, okay, who are you? Why am I here? And why am I not at my house? Right?
Right.
Which will get me into my miniature Boerboel.
Yeah.
Trust and
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her like, you don't want to eat out my hand? And she'll look at me like, I don't know you, lady. And I'm like, you've been in my house for over like 5 months. So yeah, it was, I'm like, you different. But I love that.
Hmm.
Standoffish. They
So
ain't
you so
trust me yet.
you've been in the Boerboel for a while, and then you into the miniature Boerboel. I'm gonna put pictures up
Yes.
too of these dogs.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
Wow. People that know me, let me start there. There have been times when a person was having difficulty with, their dog, and they would reach out, in our little group, can you take this dog? Can you, help me with this dog? Or this dog has behavioral issues or whatever. So I've been one to be around those particular dogs, whether you call it, animal behavioralist, or rehabbing. But the fact that when I've seen the beginning of a dog and then towards the end when I'm not around anymore, and the improvement, the growth, and just to watch all aspect, like that stuff is so, I mean, I love it. I love being around that, So with that being said, in those circles, like people know me, because if I'm taking care of your dog or my dog, I'm gonna take care of it like it's like up here. They know that dog is not gonna be mishandled, right? It's not gonna be neglected. It's not gonna be like they just know that about me. So when it comes to a person saying to me, hey, listen, there's only 5 people in the world that I'm granting, breeding rights to, and you're one of them. I'm like, heck yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
thank you so much, for
yeah.
thinking of me and knowing me like that. Like, that means a lot to me.
Mhm.
So because of that, yeah, the person who has introduced this specific, rare breed, to the world, out of Virginia. Yeah, she graced me with that privilege. So I love it, and I'm glad for it.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so that's where the miniature comes in. But I gotta say though, with the Boerboels, love them, continue to love them, learned a lot from them. But you already know, you've had so many people on your broadcast. I don't even have to go into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been around that breed. I've been around like the Argentine Dogos.
Mhm.
Um, Talked about the Rotties, of course, first started out, been around like, the Belgiums, the Dutch Shepherds. So I've been around these like, dominant dogs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Been around, bullies, even
Presa,
if
you've been around a lot of Presa Canarios?
I have, back in 2011. Yes.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I just love it. It's to me, it's just continued learning and growth, and kind of like respect for the breed, right?
Mhm,
It's a respect level, right?
mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, now I'm into the miniature Boerboels.
What
Love
what
them.
what yeah, okay, tell me why you love them, and tell me this, what makes up a miniature Boerboel?
Okay, so first tell you why I love them.
Mhm,
Okay, in
mhm.
my opinion, sometimes you don't have the room or the space for like, these 150-pound, 175-pound, like,
Yes, ma'am.
dogs.
Yeah.
But you want one, right? You've
Uh-huh.
researched them, you watch them, YouTube, you do your little research, you want one,
Mhm,
but you just don't have the space,
mhm,
right? Okay, so now they come in a compact size.
mhm,
Oh, you're not going to put the title on it as, guardian dog, it's this little tight little thing. But guess what? I'll say noisemaker, right? It kind of has the same characteristics and it's the same traits, in my opinion, because again, I've been around both. And it's
mhm,
just something about they're just the gracefulness and the I don't know, the statue is just something about them.
mhm, mhm.
And think about it. Me again, the grooming side. There's certain dogs, or small dogs with the nose, push the nose,
Yeah,
whether
the
it's the
cracker percent,
pug,
yeah,
so that,
I can see it, yeah.
and again, we're just being truthful, being honest, right?
Mhm,
You don't have that with the miniature Boerboels.
right.
You don't.
So
You don't.
what, uh well, I was gonna ask you what makes up the miniature Boerboel?
So, and I'm gonna go by what the person's information is and how they answer that question, right? Because I still want to be in alignment, right?
Right.
She said, because she has this Q and answer on her website, which is good. Everything that makes up the Boerboel is in the miniature Boerboel. That's what she said. However, when it comes to like the size part, because again, it took time to get there, right?
Hmm.
There's a specific breed that she implemented into that for
For the
the
size.
size, right? And again, you could check, website, Google this. She has all this information on it. She's very transparent. So
Yeah.
that's that part.
Right.
Um, I don't want to quote what that breed is on the size because I don't have my notes, but you can look it up online. But
Right.
yeah, but
Okay.
she kept true to Boerboel because again, she still does both. She still
She
has
does
the
both.
regular
Okay.
ones, yeah, and the
Yeah.
miniature
The
ones, yeah,
miniature. Well, let me
yeah.
ask you this: the miniature ones. What? Give me a ballpark figure on what type size we looking at. Or give me another dog comparison in size.
You know what? I equate them to seriously, hands down. They could be as low to the ground as the bulldogs,
Hmm.
but and like the ABs,
Hmm.
like 'cause the small, because there's like some XL bullies, right? But just
Right.
like the height of them, because they
Right.
still have that physique to
Yeah.
them.
They still
But
rock. Okay.
yeah, and then you just have that mastiff head, like the mastiff feature, that mastiff look. You still got that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, 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 yeah. It's just truly amazing. And again, it's new. And some people are not fond of it because they're like, you can't call it a Boerboel because it's a miniature. Well, guess what? She calls it a
Oh,
miniature
you
Boerboel.
call it a miniature Boerboel, and
Yeah, that's what she calls
she
it.
tells what she done to make the miniature Boerboel. It's
Yeah,
different. This has been such a hot topic on my show. It's
yeah.
different when you're doing something else and not telling people what you're doing, and then,
That
so there's
part.
been a big
And
issue. Yeah,
again, she says, don't call it a hybrid because it's not. She's like, don't call it a midget because it's not.
yeah.
So, you know,
Right, right.
we get that. That's a debate all day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Mhm.
for its purpose, that's what it is. And again, if you live in an apartment building, you live in something small, what I'm like, even if you kind of like cowarding away from something you truly want, but you're kind of, you can start out with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you need a companion, a buddy, a co-pilot, in your seat, just things like that, right? Because it still looks, don't laugh, it still looks menacing. I'm sorry, and a
Yeah.
point size, like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Like
Yeah.
the other day, matter of fact, was it today? Yeah, I think today yesterday cable guy came into my house, and all you heard was that sound and that noise and that bark and that growl, and I'm looking like, if only the man knew behind that door is something like this tall, but like, hey,
Right.
did the trick, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what yeah. So we also know that you are a consultant.
Yes,
What are we consulting about?
I love that part. I get text messages, Instagram messages, and again, people from high school, college, hey, my son or my daughter wants a dog.
Mhm.
Here's our lifestyle. This is what we're into. What do you recommend? And to me, I love that. And I always start out with, in my opinion, right? You're not going to be a person who is this couch potato and you want a freaking Mal X. That ain't gonna work. I'm gonna tell you this, this dog will pace in the cage nonstop. Don't
Mhm.
stop. And it's just pacing. And you're looking like, what it doesn't. That's what it does, right? So those type of like little feedback tidbits I can give them, you know what I mean? Just to, help them out and what they're about to do. And again, it's a commitment. You can't say today, oh yeah, I want a dog, and then like, next Wednesday, this dog ain't for me. Like, so yeah, let's talk about it. What are your questions? I'll let you know what I know. Or uh a dog that sheds, right? I'm gonna let you know, well, this dog sheds a lot,
Right,
right?
right, right.
I'm gonna, walk you through it and let you know, then there's some like, hyperallergenic dogs, just stuff like so
Yeah.
that's why I said consultant for things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
and you know what? That is needed because a lot of people don't know what the hell they getting into. They just go off popular breeds, pay
After the
hellish
fact.
prices for bad dogs. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. After
That's a
the
unique
fact.
job. You giving me some ideas. Let me write
Yeah,
that
exactly. And let's
down.
not get started and I gotta go there. Sorry, got to. You
Do it.
see these dominant dogs, you see these mastiffs, right? I got the
Mhm,
Argentine mastiff, right? The Dogo, right?
mhm,
Been
mhm,
around like, South African mastiffs, right? The Boerboel, right?
mhm,
You're
mhm,
so happy about these dogs, you want to brag about these dogs, right?
mhm.
But what I've taught my dogs, you're gonna sit. When I open up a door, you're going to sit first. I'm going to go out first. You're going to follow me, right? And that's just me, in my opinion. While there's other people, men,
Mhm.
yeah, I want a rough house. I want to play. I want them jumping up. I'm like, yeah, no, but don't do that. Nah, it's okay. Well, it's a man thing. I'm jumping up. Okay, I'm letting you know. Like, I don't play with mine like that. We don't do that. No, it's cool. It's cool. Until you get that call, ring, ring, ring. That dog, jumped up and growled at me, or that dog almost like, bit me because I'm like, but see, there were little things leading up to that you thought was cute. And I'm trying to tell you, you don't want to do that with certain dogs. Like, and it's not me being mean and strict, blah. No, because certain dogs, like, come on, if you get them hyped and they're already now they're in that prey drive, if you think you say no, stop, they're gonna stop. Come on now. So let's not even get them riled up like that, right? But you think,
Right.
a little, what you know. I'm trying to tell
Yeah.
trying to tell you. So I yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a good question. Uh, as a woman training around these men, and as a black woman training around these men, um, you I was thinking about you talking about you going through the alligator, so I'm pretty sure you was around some poked out chests or some
Yeah,
poked out chests.
yeah.
Yeah. So as a woman in the dog community, how has it been?
Well, there's two elements, right?
Mhm.
I'm a woman
Mhm.
and then I'm a woman of color,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Two different elements. So there's some things where you're just saying, let's listen, let's talk more action, right? They
Mhm.
could think whatever they want, but let's see your dog, let's see your work, let's see what you do, let's see your grooming skills, right? And
Mhm.
most times, you got to let your work speak for yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be in control. Just sometimes you can't take things personal, although inside it's personal, but you can't act like it's personal, right?
Mhm.
Because what do they want to see? Can you do what you say you can do? Right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I face that. I face it a lot.
Mhm.
There's certain times when, people don't take you serious,
Mhm.
until like, you stick to, what sticking to your lane, your questions, your answers, and this is what I'm about. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to learn. Right. So I mean, you get that a lot. And then don't be soft spoken. Like, come on now. They're gonna think they know more than you. Like, and sometimes they do. Like, I'll give you a props, and I'm the first to reach out to ask questions, right?
Mhm.
Or if I'm doing something I think is, questionable or wrong, or if there's another way. Like, for example, the other training franchise that I thought I wanted to be a part of,
Mhm.
even they would say, we watch other people. So it's a little bit of you having a toolbox. You take a little bit here, you take a little bit there, and it just depends on like what you're doing. You can use others. And I'm saying to myself, that's what I am and I do, but underneath your tutelage, you're telling me it's wrong and I got to do exactly what you do. And I'm like, wow, you know what, Wen Michelle, you've been around dogs into this dog game like over 13 years, right? You know what you know how to do it, you do it well, success rate in what you know your lane. It's not all the time me thinking I have to like hitch my wagon to another element or entity.
Right.
And with that particular program, there was a little bit of, and again, I don't know if it was the woman part of the woman of color part, or maybe just a mix of both. But I'm the first to say, okay, you know what? This isn't working out for me. So I know it's not going to work out for you. Like, I'm the first. Like, I'm not going to stay in something. Like, what is that saying? Be around where you're celebrated and not tolerated.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
That's me hand down.
Yeah.
No, forget the fact that, I took a 3-week off, no pay coming in, no paycheck. I'm sitting in a hotel for 3 weeks, paying hotel fees, food fees, and I'm sitting in a training session that lasts for 5-6 hours. You know what I mean? I'm like, but then you get these little tidbits, innuendos, feedback from the
Yeah.
franchise owner, from the master trainers about something. Like, I would say, so how'd I do today? What do I need to brush up on? So tomorrow I'll be more, and they go, oh no, you're doing fine. Trust me, if you wasn't doing fine, they would have cut you a long time ago. So that's what they're telling me. But then they're telling the franchise territory that I'm gonna be going to something totally different. And I'm like, what am I missing here?
Right. Right.
So you know what? It's not you, it's me. This isn't working out for the both of us. And they're like, so you're not coming back? No. It's but thank you. No, because now I'm like, Wendy, I'm driving back 4 hours later to where I live to say, okay, how do I recoup, right? Those 3 weeks, no paycheck, no money, these bills, hotels fee, and this was not even a good fit for me,
Oh,
right?
wow. Yeah. You got to
And
think
I'm
about
the first person to take critique because I want to be critiqued. I want to know. I want to learn, right? I want to be the best that I can possibly be. It's, to me, it's a forever, continually growing thing.
it. Mm-hmm.
But if you see these subliminal things, and it's not one thing or two thing, like the other thing, it's like, oh, we're getting feedback that you're late every day to training. I'm like, I'm sitting in a parking lot. I'm always like 15 minutes early in the parking lot. Check your cameras. Y'all got cameras, right? You'll see me. And so whoever's telling you that I'm the one that's late, what? Check your cameras. I'm in the parking lot, right? So again, so I'm like, hey, it's cool. Because again, now I already know, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. If you really want to know the truth, you can check your camera, but you just choose to believe what someone's telling you that I'm doing wrong, that I'm not doing wrong.
Yeah. Somebody.
Okay, you know what? This is not for me. It is okay. I'm going to pack up so I don't have to spend another week of hotel fees for this. Again, I go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And I'm good. I'm okay. I have
Right.
nothing bad to say about your program, although I can tell the truth, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can check their roster. How many
How
women
many
of
make?
color
Yeah.
work? That speaks for itself, right? I don't
Right.
have to say anything. But
Right.
again, I learned. I learned. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. Even when you were saying franchise, it was like you saying the F word to me. When I hear franchise, when the franchise, I think 10%. They want 10%. They ain't I get it on my own.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's important that we go where we celebrate it.
Yeah.
I've loved working for myself and actually employing others, enhancing other people's lives. And just like this podcast, I was telling you earlier, everything I didn't like about a job, I implemented different systems and things in my company.
And you
And
can tell. You can
right,
tell the difference.
right, yeah, you can, and also just with I kind of lost my train of thought. Even if I go to work for somebody now, which
Yeah.
I which I work for somebody part time now.
Yeah.
If they don't consult me
Yeah.
and I'm doing the job, I'm the primary person doing the job, I'm probably not going to work there. I don't work for people that come out the office. Here you go.
Yeah.
I just don't. You too damn smart for that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not gonna give me
Same.
respect, like, okay, we got this project coming up. Let's go see what he think. They don't do that to me. They show me what they think about me. And I know people say, "Yeah, you arrogant." No, I mean, why? I mean, I don't. I hate jobs. I hate like the politics of like what you just went through and all that. And just because somebody said something, your job is on the line, man. Come
But
on,
you know what? And I'm the type of person that I want it to be something else before I go to that. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be something else
man.
before I go there. So I already see it's there, but I'm like, yeah, nah. I already see it. Nah, let me
Yeah,
think of something. But it still keeps going. But
I'm the same way. Yeah, I bounce.
what I've learned is no matter how humble you are, you watch your words, right? You keep yourself in control, right? Because you know what the end of that, you know what your intent is. Like, okay, this is what I want from this program. Let me stick focus on, the end result, right? But
Mhm,
what I've learned is no matter how much you try to, and I hate to say this, diminish yourself,
mhm.
dumb down yourself thinking that it's going to improve the situation, it doesn't, because it's just you. Something about you that you don't see that others see. And I don't want to use that I word. Maybe it's another word, but there's something they see in you. It's like, uh-oh, but you don't see in yourself,
Mhm.
and they ain't gonna tell you. Not unless you're around that circle of people who want to build you up. They see something in you, they want to build you up, they want you to reach your potential, and they want to help you out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you, like you said, when you go to your part-time job, I'm sure they see leadership in you, the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, the way you probably walk in a room, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you kind of command, that certain,
Right.
characteristics. That's gonna rub some people the wrong way. And it's
It
like
does.
you work for them.
Yeah, yeah. And,
You
and,
would
and
think they
even
want that.
and even in this space, in the podcast space, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? You over here, you doing your thing, you doing your podcast, you ain't worried about nothing. Uh People may have an issue with something. You do a bit, maybe another podcast. They looking at you like competition. Get into it with them. They're gonna start uh the game here with men is emasculating you. Oh, you the girl. they, it's real childish. You know what I mean? So yeah,
And you're just being your true, authentic self, and it
yeah,
shines.
right, right, yeah,
So
yeah. And don't nobody see no girl when they look at me. So you know, yeah,
hey,
yeah,
be like Snoop. I want to thank me.
yeah, that's right,
you
that's right,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to thank me, and there's nothing arrogant in that.
yeah. Hmm, hmm.
I want to thank me.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, that's right. I want to thank you because you have done something a lot of people hit a lot of things people haven't done. And one of those things is the heart of the matter. You have opened a nonprofit before that was for domestic violence survivors and disabled military vets. Can we know more about that, sister?
Yeah, that is like something so true to my heart. And okay, so here's my thought process. And I'm the type of person, I don't look at problems, I try to look at solutions,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Right.
Think tank is like, what corporate calls it. I'm from the corporate world.
Mhm.
Um, I always just had this thought process. I'm like, first of all, one, when you're coming out of any type of like domestic violence situation, it's,
Mhm.
it rocks your world, right?
Mhm.
To me, a dog. And people like, oh, a dog. But think about what the dog brings to you. And then the dog actually helps you understand yourself. It helps you learn specific skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if a dog doesn't want to be bothered with you, what is it going to do? It's going to give you signals, right? The
Mm-hmm.
hair on the head, it may growl, you may show teeth, it may, like there's certain, telltales that it's going to show you, right? It's boundaries, it's giving you warnings. There are times where, like, you don't know what boundaries are, you don't have any boundaries. So it kind of helps, like, reinstill the certain foundational basics and just
Mm-hmm.
characteristics, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you can take the time, right, after like the boo-hooing. Like you may never stop boo-hooing, but after a while it won't come so frequently. You can kind of sit back and understand, well, what did I do? Or not even if you did anything, what was coming from me that a person thought that they could be capable of doing what they did, right?
Right,
I
right.
didn't have certain boundaries. Like, the first push, right? The
Mm-hmm.
first bump, right? Boundaries should have been set.
Yeah.
I learned from
Warning
a
signs.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned from a dog I just met, walking around, fluffy, looking cute, bumps into my leg. I'm like, oh, cute. He did a second time. Oh, no, he's sizing me up already, right? So just like little, you know what I'm saying? So just like things like that. I can go on and on and on about that aspect. But the second part to me is it's a form of protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you may not want to leave your house. You may not even want to live alone, right? You may not even want to go out, right? Someone may be stalking you. All of these elements. You got a dog by your side traveling with you all the time. Like I can tell you, and again, my children used to be like, Mom, we don't like you always traveling, always up and down the roads. But once I had the dogs, like, oh my, I won't have to worry about you. Ain't nobody gonna bother you. When they see Apollo and Noble, and I got two Argentine like,
You
oh, it
got two
ain't
dogs?
bothering me.
You got two dogos?
Oh, yes.
How many dogs you got?
Well, I got a litter on the ground right now, so we won't count them. But
Okay.
in total, I have five.
Okay. And what are they?
I got two Argentine dogos.
Uh-huh.
One was a rescue. Love him.
Okay.
And here you go, me and my rescues.
Yeah.
I got Noble Apollo Argentine dogos, purebred. Good bloodline. Exports. Their parents were export. Then I have the German Shepherd I told you about. His grandfather, again, winning awards, championships overseas. Then I have, look at me, what I got. Then I got Mal X, which I love. Call her Yo Yo, and again, Prey Drive. She's all over the place. She's up there, which I love. So I love the foundational part I'm putting in her. The training part, love it. Smart, can open doors and all that because it depends on the latches. Which
Mm-hmm.
again, oh, okay, so I know to change that, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Noble, who I talked about, can actually jump fences. Like he'll jump. So again, I like this. I'm like, oh, so I can use that in my training methods, right? Or in my consulting when I'm talking to people about their dogs. So yeah, I got a total of five. Did I mention five? Oh, and Eclipse. Eclipse is the miniature Boerboel. So yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's five.
Well, okay. Well, what is the litter on the ground you have?
Now, here we
Your
go.
babies.
I call them baby mastiffs,
Okay.
because it was an accidental breeding. I did mention that, training program that I went to 4 hours away. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, my dogs was at a friend's house. So yeah,
Okay.
one became pregnant. So I'm
Oh,
like, oh, here we go.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so now I call them baby mastiffs because both mom and dad are mastiffs. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna love working with them, seeing them, watching them, evaluate them, of course training them and like, see what they can do and their potential. So
Yeah.
excited about that.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good. Well, let me
yeah,
let me go back down to what we was talking about earlier because I was really relating to some things you said. I know when my father died, they had
yeah,
a Corso, right? Bad
yeah,
badass. She took a bullet for him and everything. Somebody was down on the side of the house, and my mom had let her out about 11 p.m. Had a little red house. Somebody
yeah,
was over there late night doing something they weren't supposed to do, and they shot her for alerting, running over there, going to him and alerting. And she's still around. I got her over here right now, but um, my father died. Then
sorry.
my sisters. Oh, thank you. My sisters. They're gonna get your mama. Come live with us for a minute, and she mourn.
Yeah,
Finally, the old black mamas of ours. Take them
yes,
to the house. Take them
yeah,
out. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
They don't want to hear nothing about moving with no kids. So, and meanwhile I had Penny, her dog,
Yeah,
and my mom. She mourning, and I'm like, "Mom, you want your dog?" She said, "No, just keep her."
wow,
Yeah, just keep her. But she just like that. Some said, "Nah, take her dog back down to her." You
see,
know what I mean? I thought about it for a week. I took that dog back down to my mom, and it helped her heal. She
yeah,
helped her heal. You know what I mean? She
it's
got
true.
so I guess she got on another level of closeness with her, and that dog, she would hurt somebody by my mom.
See, see, and
Yeah.
it's true. And now there's studies out there. Studies have shown one, having a dog, having a pet prolongs your life, prolongs your health. These are studies, right? We also know that there are dogs, like, in the medical alert field. We know that, right? My two stories, and I'll try to make them quick. My night job I had years ago, I was a night audit at the hotel. I was able to bring Noble and Apollo. Noble would sit by the safe, and Apollo would sit on the other side. And the owner allowed me to do that. Like we would walk, like the the corridor and the aisles and the parking area. I got my two dogs, so again, it was just like a good fit. But it also gave me comfort. Again, I'm a female working the night shift,
Hmm.
but I had those dogs by me. Nobody was gonna bother me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the dog lovers, they loved it. Oh, look at the dog. And then anyone that may have thought of something, now it was a deterrent, like the second guess, like what their intention was going to be. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Second issue, true story. I was a private nurse aide for this family in Fairfield, Connecticut. This is the truth. When the woman passed away, she was like 91, 92, and she had a dog named Lulu. And they actually allowed me to bring my dogs because, like, I lived, like, in their, what do you call it, daughter house? What do you call it when the house is a,
Down here we
yeah,
call it mother-in-law court,
yeah,
whatever.
there was on 8 acres, right? Eight
Uh-huh.
acres. So, my three Boerboels, we had a blast. Anyway, when she passed away, God's honest truth, they allowed me to stay in this mansion with the dog for a month until the family sorted out who was going to get the dog.
Oh, yeah.
So when you talk about family and that connection and like dogs and the relation, I'm living in a mansion with Fido, just me and Fido, for a whole month while they work out which, child is going to take Fido home. A mansion,
Hmm.
food in the fridge, electricity on, a mansion just because I'm watching a dog.
Yeah.
Like true stories, true story.
Hmm.
But again, the healing aspects that pets bring to us humans. And sometimes I say they teach us how to be more human. And people like, wow, that kind of makes sense. I know for me, I've learned so much. I continue to learn, And again, and that brought me to like when I would like donate like the four again on separate occasions, but it was a total of four to military vets, some that have PTSD or they came back to me because my dad was in the army. My dad was a veteran, so to me that's a soft spot for me. So when I say thank you for your service, I actually truly mean it. Like I
Yeah.
thank you for your service.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's a true story. So yeah, with domestic violence, a pet in a disguise of a pet when it's really like, low key,
Hmm.
trained protection animal, but you just think it's a service dog because it could be both. So
Right.
that was why I kind of like merged those two things together.
Right.
And to me, it made sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, what were there any challenges in doing this nonprofit organization? Because it sounded like you was pretty successful, help people. But what kind of challenges do you face with these type of organizations?
Well, now with me, and I'm just going to be transparent. There's so many people that I run into that says, "Oh, my animal is a service animal." Now, again, there's guidelines and there's rules. Like sometimes you can't even ask, "Well, what are they servicing you for?" Or what's your disability? Like you got to be kind of like careful again under the law. But doggone well, that's not your service animal. You just want that paperwork, right? So you could travel and bring fodder with you everywhere you go. Like, come on now.
Mm.
So you run into that all the time. You actually do. So I run into that where, oh, just give me the dog and we could just tell you it's trained. No, 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 no. That's an emotional support dog. But
Hmm.
we're talking about a service dog, two different things.
Yes, they are.
And yeah, I'm not gonna get caught up in something like that.
Hmm.
No, 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 not gonna do it. So things like that, right?
Hmm.
Or they would want a specific breed that doesn't fit their lifestyle. I think we touched on that before. I'm not gonna do that, you
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
Not to do that. And then with me, people say, well, instead of you gifting these dogs to people, you should really sell the dogs to them. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure you're probably saying that to help, what I'm doing. But however, there's other organizations that do that, right? Nonprofits, but you got to pay like 10 grand, for a service dog. It's
Oh,
true, and
yeah.
that's low on the scale. But
Right.
me, I want to service the community of people who cannot afford that,
That's right.
but they need that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So that's just where I fell into it, and trust me, I love that. That was so satisfying. Even sometime today, people would reach out to me, message me, show me pictures of the dog and how they're doing, with them and their family, and I love things like that. That was just like just the best to me, and
Right.
I firmly believe, and this is just me, when you pay it forward or do unto others, I really truly believe that it comes back to you. It may
Yeah.
not come back specifically from that person, but it'll come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Good deeds
Like,
always come back.
yeah, like for example, Mims told me about you, right?
John Mills. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody know him on the show. Yeah.
yeah, I reached out to him so many times. He'll talk to me, he'll give me instructions, guidance, and I have and he'll say, you do so many things. I'm like, well, yeah, but I just want to talk about this right here, so
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stuff. He's like, no, you need to be confident, and about this and about. So he's been extremely helpful, and I love that part
Right.
about it. And you
Well,
know,
you're very versatile, and so yeah, you do a lot of things. I'm similar, and that means you're a generator. You know what I mean? You can just do stuff. You know what I mean? Uh,
right.
what you doing now? Because I know you're doing something.
See, here you go. All right. Again, this is the think tank, my thought process.
Mhm.
I would like for it to be, in my perfect world, a certain type of network for like disaster type of planning. Whereas a family member or a medical issue, right? No one can take care of your dogs, but you have a network of people that you trust, you build a rapport with, a relationship with, you guys are on one accord that, you help each other out. Or we got natural disasters, we got earthquakes, like what happened to Texas,
Yeah,
my
floods. Yeah.
condolences to the, but if we knew ahead of time this is going to happen, well, let me reach out to my network of people. Okay, can I move 2 dogs here or 3 dogs there prior to this happening, like a network of type of thing. I
Hmm.
came up with a concept a few years ago. It was called like your kennel name here, your kennel name here, meaning you got a kennel, you have policies and procedures, but it's on my land, my property, of course, 24-hour surveillance, security cameras, of course, safety, but your dogs, not all of them, your dogs are here, but I have your manual and I'm following your manual. It's your dogs, your kennel, right? Your kennel name, your space, your banner up, but I'm the one for assisting, I guess, maintenance, right?
Right.
Maintenance type of
Hmm.
facility. But it's it's like a collective, like a membership type of a thing. Um, I just think about things like that a lot. And to think, when you think about it, and this is again, statistics is true, there are some people who are homeless that have dogs. Some people, they're not going into shelters or getting help because they got to get rid of their dog. They're not going to do that. They'd rather stay on the street.
Hmm.
True story, and there are statistics that say that. I'm not saying all of them, some of them,
Right.
right? And there are times when, like, I have like a goodie bag when I was in Tennessee, and I would see someone with their dog outside. So in that bag, water for them, water for the dog, can of food for the dog, just to, that somebody sees you and somebody cares, Nothing for me to record and put on Instagram. Ooh, look what I'm
Ooh,
doing.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
just
Mhm.
they rather stay on the street because they're with their dog, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Not every family member is a dog person. Well, we'll take you in, but we ain't taking no dog in. So, so what are some people going to do? Some people, they're just going to stay in the street with their dog,
Hmm.
and just rough it out. I got my dog, I'm good, and that's a true story. So, things like that, just want to try to find like, solutions for if it's possible, or find programs that are already out there that again I can cascade or again consult about. Well, I may not do it, but I know someone who does, right?
Hmm.
Or I don't do it, but this organization does, right? I'm not protection and decoy, but I know someone who does. Like, so that type of thing. That's just me, you know?
Right. So I'm gonna ask you an off the wall question. I don't mean it to be in a
No,
sexist
you're
way,
good. You're
uh,
good.
but I just want to know this: women with dogs, right?
Yeah.
And the dating scene, or just in relationships. Do you think like women with dogs, like, is it hard for men to date women with dogs? Like, it may be like some men might be like that about kids, or they might be scared of dogs, or what is that like? I don't know what it's like for you, but just in general. I had to ask.
No, you're good. Okay, so I think, okay, that old saying where they say, a man walking a dog or a man who's holding a baby, it's intriguing and it's enticing to like women. They're gonna want to come up to them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of like the same with me. If I'm walking a dog, like, it's like, oh, the dog. Oh, she's pretty too. and she got a dog. So
Right.
I get that, it's like,
Right.
so I laugh. I'm like, yeah, the dog is, my dogs are good, right? Nah, we looking at you. I'm like, yeah, no, you're looking at my dog. So
Yeah. Yeah.
no, it's all good. It's all good, and it's fun, funny, fun, and especially if it's the big dogs. Like, what you doing with that big dog? So I
Yeah.
get that a lot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, with my dogs, don't come too close, because they're gonna look at you or they're gonna growl.
Yeah.
Which I like. They're not gonna attack you. They're in control. I got them, but I'm just saying I kind of, like
Yeah.
that
They let
because
they let people know. Hey, watch it. Yeah. Because
yeah,
the threat display. Uh, people be asking me stuff in my comments. What's one of those questions they asked me? But they was like, for it's Boerboels. I have a lot of Boerboel people that watch, and they say, well, Boerboel shouldn't be taught protection. I mean, that could be true. You know what I'm saying? People gonna do what they want to do with their dogs, but just his display is
that's it.
a sign of protection. To me, you know what I mean? Yeah,
That's it. And
yeah.
Joe, true story. There was a family. I felt so bad for him. The husband had, did he have the Roddy? The husband had the Boerboel. The mom had the Roddy. And then the mother-in-law was like, okay, one of these dogs got to go. And I felt so bad because it was two against one. The husband had to get rid of the Boerboel. So someone
Mhm.
reached out to me, told me about it. I contacted the guy, told him who I was, what I did, where I lived. And he's like, yeah, I want my dog to go to you. And it was like that old lineage. And I knew about that lineage back then. What is it? Henry Hudson and Skyview. But anyway, so I said, hey, as long as you pay for transport, I'll take it from there. So from Arkansas, dog came to me, and it was a senior dog, female. When I tell you the first day I'm in my car, of course, car running, AC on, because you know how people are. Oh, that's in the car. No, AC was on. I was standing outside of my car doing something. Someone was coming up towards my car. That dog that I just picked up was not having it. And I'm looking like, true story. True story. And I'm not going to say it's a Boerboel thing, but all I know is like that protection part. However, t- for us responsible dog owners, of course, any dog, all dogs should be trained. I firmly believe that. That's just me. Um, but yeah, and I've been around a lot of Boerboels. Some train, some not, but that like guardian thing that they got, like I
Is there? Is
but
there?
again, you can do what you want with your dog. Every dog should be trained by a trainer, a good trainer, because there's some trainers out there that they'll say they're a trainer. I won't even go there, but yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
especially
Right,
protection train, decoy, all that.
right,
Again, I tell you, I don't wear that title. I'll be the first to tell you no, but I
yeah,
know people who do that.
right,
But the Boerboels that I've been around, yeah, like I don't know if you want to call it instinct. I don't know what it is, but that guardian part of them, like it. And again, I just picked the dog up.
right, right. You
I
you
just picked the dog up.
you said something earlier, and I had cut you off before you got into it. But you was talking about you was going to go into about difficult dogs, handling difficult dogs.
Oh, look at me, the lingo I learned. Hard
Mhm.
handle dogs, I call
Yeah,
them, and was told to me. Oh my gosh, I've been
you're not
around.
scared of nothing like that. You meet an aggressive dog, you running up on it.
You know what? But I've learned so much from them. And again, you gotta know, you gotta watch. Like I'm not gonna ever be arrogant, like not watching, not learning, thinking up. Because yeah, you get your face bitten off, you get your hand bitten off, and like come on. Um, had a situation. True story. But again, I learned a lot and I listened to instructions. So I was house sitting, pet sitting, because the two are combined, and it was a Boerboel, popular Boerboel, uh, and it was already trained, but it's a hard handle Boerboel.
Okay.
Now there's some Boerboels that, and I'm being transparent, you train them that, you put food in the bowl, you tell them sit, stay down, you put the food bowl down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you, owner, trainer, take that same food that you put down and you picked it up, and the dog, you dare the dog to snap at you or bite at you or growl at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest, my experience, right?
Right.
Okay. You could train dogs, okay, yeah, because I feed you. If I put this food down and you starving and I still pick it up, that you ain't gonna try to snap at me, growl me, whatever. Okay, I've been in the rooms. This is experience. I've been through this. But there's some dogs you better not do that to, because they're gonna bite the heck out of you. What do you see something on YouTube, so you're gonna practice that at home? You're gonna get snatched up, bleeding, spat like every. So again, I call them hard handled dogs. It's like you gotta have mad respect for them, but you still gotta confident, assertive, right? If I say a command, you're gonna do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hard handled dog. So yeah, and it was a Boerboel. True story, and I'm glad I remembered this. True story. Another person who was watching that dog sat on a couch. That person wasn't me, but I heard the story. I'm glad I listened.
Mm-hmm.
That person went to grab the collar, right, to pull the dog to get off the couch. That dog, oof, right here on the shoulder.
Ooh.
Bitter. Okay, so again, I'm pet sitting, right? House sitting. I'm in the kitchen, dog comes out, the dog goes to sit on a couch. Me not thinking, I went up to it to grab, it turned around, showed its teeth, and I remembered, oh wait, that's what happened to the other person. So so I step back. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this ain't gonna happen. This ain't gonna happen on my watch. Like, no, I gotta figure out, I gotta outsmart you, right? Again, hard handle. I can't be grabbing at you because you're gonna turn around and want to freaking bite, And again, I'm home alone. Like,
Right.
so okay. My breakfast had to be the sacrificial lamb that day because I was making breakfast.
Yeah.
So what I did, I had my breakfast plate. It was a nice sandwich. It was looking good. I was gonna turn around and eat that thing, but I'm like, yeah, nah, you getting out this house. So what I did, because it's on the couch now, right? I go around, I open up the door to the garage, right? And I stand by the other side because you're going out the house and you're going to get in your cage now. And I'm going to figure out a way because, again, I got to outsmart you now because you're not going to win. You can't win. And I can't let you think I'm scared of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I walked up to it, put, the plate next to the, so I can smell it. I'm backing up. It's following me. Yeah, I put the plate outside. As soon as her behind got outside, yeah, I closed that door, ran outside the other way with the other half of my sandwich, called her. She smelled, she came in. Boom. Okay, now I got you where I want you. You're in a garage. And now I'm just going to pull your long leash, right? I'm on the outside of the cage to get you behind it because I'm going to win. I'm not going to be afraid of you.
That's right.
No, I'm going to. So it worked, but I had to have respect and I got to really think outside the box. So that's when I say, like, I don't know the words to use, but when it's effective and it works, I just feel good about myself. Like, wow, when like you did that.
Right. Right.
So yeah, but yeah, they're hard
You
handled
gotta
dogs.
you gotta outthink them. Yeah. You have
You
to.
gotta outthink them. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, you
Yeah.
gotta outthink them. So
Yeah.
yeah, plenty of those stories. But yeah, I didn't. Nope, nope, no bit. But I have gotten bit though once, but it wasn't by any of the big dogs. A small, tiny dog. But that was my fault.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
so funny. Once it happened, and I put on social media, okay, my first time ever being bit. People like, yay! Now you're a true dog person. I'm like, wow.
So you only bit one time.
Yeah, it was my
Okay,
fault
good.
though.
That ain't bad. Yeah, that ain't bad
I
at
was
all.
going to somebody's house to pick up their service dog. They told me it was a service dog. They told me they had a service dog. It
Mhm.
was wreaking havoc in the family. So I knew them. I said, okay, I'll take the dog. I'll watch the dog until you find a home for the dog. That was my fault because once I rang the doorbell, opened up their dog door, the dog came and bit me. And I put my hand up, got me right here. And I'm like, I just blame myself because I shouldn't be listening to what you tell me. Oh, your dog's a service dog. Hey, no, service, come on now. So
Eh,
yeah, I had to own that. I'm like, Dad, Wendy, you should have
right,
known better.
right.
But
So,
yeah, you're
so
welcome.
I know you, man. When your resume is big, so
I'm
I'm not.
sorry.
But I know you like. Did I read that you like photography, and you're into tech as well? And if so,
Yeah.
how did you apply these things into the dog world?
See, like all these things in my life, and it's my dad's fault. All of this is my dad's fault. My dad gave me the first dog. My dad gave me my first camera at the age of 9, professional camera. Always had a camera in my hand. Photography, videography, the same thing. Um, I just love taking pictures of memorable things. And of course, dogs included, activities included. I've been at, Humane Society places where the speaker was there and wanted me to come in and take pictures and video of them speaking. I got stuff like that. Um, Portraits of dogs in sporting activities like action packed, foot. So yeah, I would have plenty of things like that.
Okay.
But those things to me were loves and hobbies that I did not know could turn into a professional career. So, yeah, that's me. My daughter told me the other day, it's like, Mom, you got like hundreds of pictures, but you're not in any of them. I'm like, because I'm the one taking them.
Yeah.
I'm taking the pictures.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I like that keeping and having moments like that can last forever that you can pass down. True story. I was a Boy Scout, Cub Scout, like volunteer. So again, that's me taking pictures of everything. Or if your kid was in Pop Warner, you was at work, you couldn't make the game. Guess what? I was in this stand videotaping it, so the parents can have a copy of what the kid did. So that was the things that I did. So when someone passed away, I actually looked back in my memory bank. I had like 20 pictures that no one ever had, but it was of this person doing what he did with the community. So I found his oldest son and I contacted the parent to say, hey, I got pictures of your baby daddy. Can I give them to you? And she was bawling the pictures that the son never had or never knew. So things like that I like to
Right.
do and have, and it just, making someone else feels good, like, that's me all day.
I got you. I got you. Well, is there anything we didn't talk about that people may not know about you that you wanted to cover?
um, well, I'm still doing board and train.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone who's interested, let me know.
Right.
Um, References I have. I still do house sitting slash, pet sitting if you're
Uh-huh.
going away. And I do travel when I do that. I love that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just me. I create pet products. There are times when, like, there have been hot spots on dogs or dogs losing hair. I've whipped up, like, my homemade, remedy, and it actually worked. And I do have pictures of that. Um, so yeah, so that's me. You may need a temporary home for your pet. Be it life be lifing, right?
Life be life.
Life be lifing. You
Yes, it
may
is.
need someone like, low key discretion involved. That's me all day, and people know that about me.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and dog grooming, still doing that.
Yeah. And people like you are important to the dog community, to people with dogs, to breeders, because like you really could never, just on a breeder's level, you can't really be as successful as you see some of the big guys they hate on. You know why they can't get on their level is because they got people like you that they know that can give them breaks
Yeah.
in their life to help. You can't reach that level as a breeder without help and without a trainer. You can't do it. You can't
Yeah.
do everything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, and you know how to web litters. People like a lot of people don't know, like it's people like you that exist and are necessary
Yeah.
for all these dogs. Dogs need help. So
I appreciate that. I always think of myself as the sixth man on the bench. You got your team, but then you need that sixth person, right, to do what they
yeah,
do to help out. So
right, right.
that's how I see it.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people call you for you are a consultant, so different things, especially that experience in animal husbandry um, is crucial. And
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of that too. I want to ask you that: do you
Yeah.
get questions for animal husbandry a lot, or sometimes?
I do, and I'm gonna make you laugh because I did not put this on my resume, but I am not afraid of reptiles. I used to own a Colombian tegu. So
What? Oh my God!
see, so
Really?
and again, that's different, right?
Mhm.
Person of color, they ain't afraid of snakes. Um,
Yeah, hey, I don't know
hot
if you saw it,
noodles,
but
as they
I don't,
call them, the hot
yeah,
ones. So.
it's some reptile content on this channel. I don't know if you saw it, but
Really? I
oh
gotta I
yeah,
gotta look that up.
yeah, we run two podcasts on here. This my podcast has been on here. I started the channel, but not too long ago, a few months back, we added a podcast called Unscripted, and the guy name is Rain who run that show, and he's uh amphibians, reptiles,
Yeah.
exotic animals. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you look at the playlist, you'll see that it's a reptile content.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, I had a thing where I say thing because it was a phase where I'm like, I'm gonna conquer all my fears. All the fears I had, I'm gonna conquer them. So guess what?
you
Snakes
did.
was a fear.
Yeah, yeah,
So me and my way of thinking, I'm like, I'm
yeah.
gonna research what is the smallest snake.
Hmm.
And to
Right.
me, it was the Kenyan sand boa. So bought one. I looked at it like it was just a small, like a big worm.
Yeah.
And I conquered my fear of snakes just from that one experience. And they were like antisocial snakes anyway. They just want to stay in the sand, right, and bury
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, that was my phase. I'm just conquering fears. Any fears I have, I'm just gonna conquer and knock them out. But I will leave you with this one question because again, my frame of mind.
Hmm.
I have a question
What you
that
got?
I would really like to know the answer to. And in your opinion, maybe you can help me out.
Let's do it.
I find, again, from my experiences and in my opinion, there are a lot of women who are fearful of big dogs and women of color. And to me,
Ooh.
it's just a conversation. I want to know why. Why
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
happen?
yeah, yeah,
Think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I
Well, if you're
peeped.
walking down the street
Uh-huh.
and you got a big dog, oh my God, like this, you'll see their face, their body, like you just see it on them before they even speak it, especially
Yeah,
if it's a big dog. And I just want to know, like, what is that about? Where does that come from? Let's talk about it. Let's try to,
yeah,
overcome that. Like, what happened? What happened? How that
yeah,
happen?
yeah. I think it's like some of it's the historical things we have been through with dogs,
Right.
used against us,
Mhm.
and things like that. I think some of it's just kind of ingrained in the brain, you know what I mean? Unless they really break it early. So like I just always remember we would be exposed to dogs early. It's like, get them
Yeah.
kids around dogs, or
Yeah.
that fear might come in. But
Yeah.
I don't know why it's like that. We really scared of dogs. I guess because things we
Really.
see. You know what I mean? Yeah, Yeah. A lot of black women are scared of dogs.
Like no, real seriously, real
Yeah,
like
like
I
Colin jumping on chairs and tables, scared of
yeah,
dogs.
man, and the dog could be like a little gentle giant. Just the fact that it's huge, big, and just you see their whole like behavior change. And again, it's a conversation because I really want to know, like, why, how come, what happened? Let's try to like fix that or try to work
Have
on
you
that.
ever worked with somebody on something like that? The fear of dogs.
I posed a question on social media many years ago. What does God smell like? Because we know that dogs are, it's all about the smell. I'm like, what does God smell like to you? Just a conversation.
All right.
Think about it. Like dogs can smell out like diseases, right?
Yeah.
Uh, natural disasters that happen, right? Like animals per se, like they take off, minutes before something break out. Like,
Yeah.
what's that about?
Yeah. I just learned today on the other podcast that the diabetic dogs can notice it 20 minutes before it happens.
Yes.
The diabetic shock or whatever. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It is. They say it's like, droplets in the horn, like they can smell that, like what we cannot see. Again, we could talk for hours, like that
Yeah, yeah,
whole thing. And even like, COVID, there are dogs that sniff out COVID.
hmm
Um, I researched that. I downloaded like the case studies and the paperwork because again, 'cause that was like fascinating to me,
Well,
Um,
John trained he trained a dog on skin cancer.
see,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's truly. Again, I could talk about this
Yeah, yeah, no.
forever because it's
Y-
just so intriguing. And again, the more I learn, the more I even learn about myself, like know thyself. So to me, again, therapeutic, it works hand in hand to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try to put another show together. Let's get some women on this show.
All
This such
right,
a
sounds
fresh
good.
air. Oh my God. Being
Yeah,
therapeutic, we were
man.
like, oh man, we're gonna have a woman on here, man.
Listen, let's talk about it.
Yeah, put, put it together. We'll do it. Yeah, put it
Sounds
together.
good to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I don't got to be on cam. I'll let y'all handle it. You know what I mean?
Nah, put us all up. They got the multi windows, but they know how to
We can
do
do that.
that,
Yeah, we
right?
can do that for sure. Yes, yes,
It
ma'am.
would be a great idea, just dialogue.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, so if you want people to get in touch with you in your area,
Yeah,
can you remind me of that area again? And
sure.
but what you can do nationwide is consult. So how
Yes.
do they get in touch with you
And
that way?
even international questions as well.
That's
There's
right.
also
Yeah.
cultural questions.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
you can look me up. I am, on social media, and I like to say Googleable. So I love that. It's the letter U, Barkin, Barkin, the @ sign, and then me. Or you could just put you barking at me and I'll pop up my phone number, website, contact information. When it comes to my kennel, I named it Winhouse Kennels, kind of like that, WENWIN, interchangeable. Winhouse Kennels, that's me. And with the Boerboel world, the QEOs, THEQEOS. You can find me like going back, wow, 2011 with Boerboels. I used to have a Boerboel digital magazine. It was called Simply the Boerboels.
I'm telling
Um,
you, you gotta go on, man.
No, hey, listen, I'm gonna end with this because it's true. Again, I
Uh,
come from the corporate world. I
mhm.
had a manager that he gave me his password. I did all his work while he went to play golf. So I had to know a little bit about everything. So
Yeah,
it just started from there.
yeah, so yeah, we're gonna put a nice little bio in there and with all your contact information so people can know how to get in touch with you. I sure do appreciate you.
Nah, I appreciate you so much. Trust me, I appreciate Mem so, so much. And again, I'm grateful for anybody and everyone who has ever taught me anything. Um, questions, answers, anything. I can name all these kennels, all these people. We got Las Vegas connection. It was Niagara Falls, but now he's up in like Chicago. Then of course Texas, cannot forget about Texas, Louisiana. So, and all the people that, said to me, hey, you're good with what you do. Come to my house, watch my dogs. And you know what? You should think about turning this into a business. So before there was Rover and the WAG app, I was out there. I had a luxury apartment building in Texas, and guess what? I was the exclusive dog walker for like 20 of their residents. Keys in my hand and all, walking into people's houses, getting their dogs and walking them and putting them back. So when it comes to dogs, canine handler, there you go.
There we go. All right, my sister, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more. Have a good one. Thanks again. Have a good work week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.